All right, Jimmy, the things I want to talk about that I think we need to adjust. We saw you in March, and a lot of things to like. You're a great athlete. Coming in today, we think you might be a little bit narrow. As a general rule, you want your snapping stance to be 4, 6, or 8 inches wider than your regular football stance, because you just need more space between the knees to make an uninhibited throw down through the legs, unrestricted. Anytime you encounter resistance, it's going to weaken the snap, slow you down, do all those things we don't want to do. I think we've got that sorted out. As you widen out a little bit, you might want to try rotating the toes outward slightly, because that'll point the knees out of the way a bit, and when you sit into it, you can push the knees out over the toes, maximizing space between the legs without getting your feet too wide. Go ahead and sit up facing the camera. Let's document what that stance width is looking like right now. Does that feel comfortable? Now the load bearing of the body should be on the quads, most comfortable explosive starting position. If you ever feel tension in the hip flexors, you're probably getting too wide. It's going to tighten you up, tense you up, and slow you down. So you'll need to bring those feet up under you a little more, okay? Okay, go ahead and stand up, step back where you were. The next thing we want to address is the setup. Number one, you're a little bit overextended downfield. You got the ball slightly too far in front of you, okay? That's going to create some tension by tightening you up from the lats down through the deltoids, bicep, tricep, all the way down to the football. You could even end up in an extreme case with the elbow locked out. Again, you got to fight through that and pull the ball a long way, burning energy and time until you can really accelerate the football to the target. All right. The second thing that does is it's going to pull your head and shoulders a little bit down low to the ground, restricting your operating room underneath the torso, especially once you get a helmet and shoulder pads on. Okay. These things are all interrelated. It pulls the front end too low. To counterbalance that weight forward bias by being too extended downfield, it pulls too much weight forward. You're hunkering back, kind of going flat-footed on me. And flat-footed doesn't win football games. You know that. You need to be on the balls of your feet. The flat-footedness also puts you in kind of a hack squat type of position where the only leg drive you get can be pretty much straight vertical. In order to capture the lower body motion energy and make it contributory to accelerating the football, it needs to be off of vertical back into the hips about 10 to 20 degrees so that it can converge with the energy going down the spine in an arrow point and channel all that energy straight to your target. Okay, kind of like dodging an inside pitch, you know, just to relate it to your other sport. So we need to work on that. Honestly, you're just overstretched on the field. So we need to raise your head to tail platform a little bit, shorten you down just a touch. Actually, what we could probably do is raise you up and move you closer to the ball by positioning the knees over the toes, relaxing the front end, getting you better balance, getting the knee bends to a less extreme kind of state as well, where you can really drive and explode. You're not really too deep, but let's just be sure you never are. And in fact, in film, what we figured out is the knee bend was probably about right. Most of what we wanted to achieve was on the front end. So we want to take the head and shoulders, elevate it a little higher, which moves you vertically further from the ball, and then move you a little closer to the ball by putting the knees right over the toes, okay? From that position, the leg drive should fall into place. Everything should come together real nice. And the stiff-armed things that I noted should go away, okay? Go ahead and step in. We'll three-step you the first time. Okay, first thing I do is I pull you forward. Three-step stance optimization. Greatest coaching technique in the history of long snapping. Gets the knee bend to 90 or less, straightens the back, fully extends the arms. Next thing I do is raise you up, maximizing operating room under the torso. Last thing I do is I push you back into the hips towards your target until the heels touch the ground, the knees are over the toes, you're solid on your feet. Now let's get this front end a little higher. Don't worry about the back end. I'm leveling out or flattening out your shoulders to hip sloping a little, so this arrow point where the upper and lower body meets is more directly aimed at your target. Make sense? Give it a good hard two-handed throw. Okay? Little short-armed there. If you don't have quite enough arm extension, you're going to hang on to the ball too long past the legs, start swinging it in an upward arc. We'll fix that this time, okay? Coaches, please make sure everybody gets through the power drills as well as field goal. Okay, ready? So you were a little overextended, a little low on the front ends, a little bit flat-footed. So I raised your front end, brought you forward towards the ball, kind of took care of all problems. Does that feel comfortable? Now, you got long arms, so if you feel like you need a little more arm extension, fine, as long as It does not shift your weight or lock out the elbows too much, okay? Throw it hard. Awesome. Now I would like to see you being a little more disciplined. Get those hands through the legs and hold them. Train for muscle memory now. We're not working on block work. Let's train for that so that you can really direct the ball to your target. By flattening out your slope a bit, all that energy converges in the arrow point. It's right at the waist of the punter. That's where the ball is going to go. A perfect setup with good balance will lead to a perfect snap almost every time. And I love the fact that you throw hard, okay? All right. So we raised you up, sat you back a little bit. Okay, does that feel comfortable?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Give it a good hard throw. That's awesome. Now you're trending a little high there. What's going on, you think?
I'm raising my butt up when I go. No, I'm not.
Wait, you got to drive with your legs, yes. Gut crunch is there. Let's try to get some leg drive. You're mostly an upper body snapper. We made that observation in film as well. If we can get leg drive going with it, snap uphill, use a spotter, wear cleats, don't ever snap on a wet hill, okay? If you want to be extra safe, wear a helmet and shoulder pads too for safety. And some of these power drills we introduced today, that can help you channel that leg drive. Probably the takeaway drill or snapping a basketball could help a ton. Okay, let's do one more. Let's try to be conscious of that lower body. I can do it one of two ways. I can lean on your lower back and channel the energy into your hips, or I can just give you a little shove of the shoulders, and that's what I'm going to do this time to see if we can't get that energy going down, back into the hips a little more instead of too vertical. Go ahead. Feel the difference? Okay. I was a little late on the push, but you get the idea, right?
Yes,
you have any questions?
No, sir.
Now, you haven't thrown high on me before. You're throwing a little high right now. Maybe you're just camera shy, but you're looking pretty good. So let's go ahead and rotate you back in the group, okay?
Yeah, the chair back.
You back inside already?
No.